So if I fill in the username and click login, I get no errors found. If I leave the username blank, I get username blank. Good, that works. So let's keep going. Next, what's the second error that could happen? They could leave the password blank. So let's copy this if. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it. This time, instead of username, it's going to be password. Again, instead of username, here's going to be password. So, we first check the username, we then check the password. Though, I'm just going to fix this little space, okay? So, either error could happen, or both errors could happen. So, let's see that in action. So let's say I log in properly. I put in a username and a password. No errors. Let's say I leave them both blank. I get both errors, username, password. Let's say we fill in the username only. I get password blank. Let's say we fill in the password only. I get username blank. Seems like we've covered all our bases. So let's go back and write some more code. Now, the next part's the tricky part. First of all, we need to get some accounts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to our file. And I'm going to copy the accounts array. And I'm going to paste it at the top of the file. For some reason, it'll give you an error because of this semicolon. Just erase it and retype it. Now, our accounts array is an array of arrays. In this example, I have two accounts. Username, Bob, username, Alice. Now, we have a username. First thing we have to do is check if the username exists in the array. If it does exist, we then have to check if the password is correct. Our final goal is what? Our final goal is to find the full name of the user, right? So, it's possible that the user doesn't exist or the password is wrong. In either of those cases, in either of those cases, we won't get a full name. So let's put in our job. Let's make a full name flag. So I'm going to start this at false. Why? Did I find the full name yet? No. My job is to find the full name. So before I've started to look, I haven't found it yet. So let's see if we can find the proper full name. So we're going to make a for each loop. We're going to go through the array accounts and take an account. So what does this loop do? It goes through the array, so it's going to go and get the first account and assign it to an account and loop. And then it'll go and get the second account and assign it to an account. So, what question do we want to ask about an account? Well, we want to know if its username is equal to the username the user entered. So, if an account username, so if the username in the current account is equal to the username that came from the form. If those are equal, it means what? It means that the user entered a valid username. Great. Now, if they entered a valid username, they may or may not have entered the correct password. So, we now have to check the password and account. We're going to check if the password of the current account is equal to the password that the user entered. If that's true, if the username of the current account is equal to the username entered, and the password of the current account is equal to the password entered, guess what? Full name flag is equal true. We found the full name, and let's keep track of it. So, the full name is equal to, sorry about that, an account, full name. So, let's look at the logic again. We're going to go to each account. We're going to check if the username of the account is equal to the username of the user, the one the user entered. If that's true, we're going to check the passwords. If the passwords are correct, that means we found the account. But let's say the username is not correct. Well, this if is false, and we loop around to the next account. And let's say the password is not correct. We loop around. So, after the loop, well, let's check if the full name flag is still false. If it's still false, guess what? We never found the account. So, let's copy the error message. So, do we have an error? Yes, we do. The error is what? The error is username and or password incorrect. So, we now check if the username and or the password is incorrect. Now, if we don't have any errors, we want to print out what? We want to print out my full name. Hi. Full name, comma, welcome. Now, you'll see that I also asked you to print a title. So, I'm going to echo title. In this case, the title is welcome. And down here, the title is here. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. We first check if the username is blank. If it is, there's an error. We then check if the password is blank. If it is, there's an error. We then assume that we don't have the full name, and we try and find it by doing a loop. After that, if we didn't find the full name, that means we have an error. Then finally, if there's no errors, it means we can say hi to the user else we're gonna print the error. So let's try it out. So, well, before that, the two accounts are Bob ABC and Alice here. So, let's run it. So just to remind you, if I leave them blank, I get three errors now. Username blank, password blank, and the username and or password are incorrect. So let's put in Chris and password. Username and or password incorrect because that account doesn't exist. Let's try Bob and 123. Username and or password incorrect. The username was correct, but the password's incorrect. I'm going to do that again. Never tell the user that the username was right, but the password was wrong. Always tell them that both or one of them are incorrect. Don't give them any detail. I'll explain more about that in class. So finally, let's try a real one, Bob. ABC. There you go. Welcome. And it worked. I know that went pretty quickly. It was just to give you an idea of how to complete the code. I'll post this project on our site. And if you have any questions, I'll be at Concordia tomorrow night. And I'll be in class on Thursday. Again, let me know if you have any questions. And if, that's about it. See you on Thursday or tomorrow night. Bye-bye.